The grown-up thing would be for her to resign. Just get out of here, leave town. But she's not going to do that. You have disgraced this entire village and also disrespected each and every one of us.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. I love the interaction on the show thus far this year, and when someone comes to me with a comment saying, let's talk about something, I say let's do it. So when I saw that Sham Mohabir, who is a subscriber to the channel, said that he wanted to talk about the FBI reportedly probing misconduct regarding Dolton, Illinois, and Tiffany Henyard, who we've talked about on the show, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Your wish is my command.
Because since the last time we did a video about this, a lot has been happening, and we need to talk about it. But before we do, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. And if you like what you see and hear in this or any other video, smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because all of this feeds the YouTube algorithm.
Feed me, Carbon! Feed me now!
Thank you guys so much for all that you do in getting the word out about the channel. And if you happen to be a newbie and this is your first time checking this out, we're glad you're here. And I hope that this video talking about Tiffany Henyard being under investigation earns your subscription, and that you stick around and talk about all the shenanigans involving the super mayor of Dolton, Illinois. For a bit of a recap, you can check out the videos in the upper right-hand corner that I'm going to start listing right now concerning what brought us here with Tiffany Henyard. She is the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, and also the supervisor of Thornton Township in Illinois. And for months and going on years now, I think, there have been allegations about Tiffany Henyard's alleged misconduct concerning village and township funds, including extravagant travel to Las Vegas, to New York, to Atlanta, and other places, tens of thousands of dollars spent on security details and police, and just complete mismanagement of a town where the population earns about $25,000 a year. It's by no means a cash cow suburb that you might be thinking of. The people are really hurting in this town. Public works are being neglected. Citizens are being harassed. There's so much to this, but let's bring you up to date on the latest.
More financial turmoil in South suburban Dolton after a bank says the village failed to make a massive payment.
Yeah, the threat now, tow trucks could be arriving soon to repossess some village vehicles. And WGN's Courtney Spinelli is joining us live from Dolton with the latest. Courtney?
Micah and Ray, some of those vehicles being threatened with repossession include Village of Dolton police cruisers and accessories that the village financed back in 2019, much like the one right behind me. Tonight, some Village of Dolton trustees and their legislative council are calling for answers and accountability.
So now think about that for a second. Could you imagine seeing a bunch of police cruisers on the back of a tow truck on a flatbed being repossessed? That's wild to me. I can't think of any municipality that has happened to, at least in my memory here in the People's Republic of New York. If you guys know of one, let me know in the comments, but that sounds absolutely wild to me.
There's no accountability.
In yet another shock to Village of Dolton trustees, a letter falling on their desks dated February 14th. Representatives from Kansas State Bank threatening to repossess 13 village vehicles, saying more than $76,000 is overdue.
That's a lot of money for the vehicles. Of course, there's got to be fees and penalties involved in that. I believe the payments were due in May of 2023. Here we are in February 2024. The bank wants their money. Those of you who paid bills, you guys know you got to pay these things on time. Otherwise, it's going to ding your credit. It's going to ding the financial viability of Dolton. But let's pay attention to this number for a minute. If you remember from past videos that we've done here on the channel, you'll know that Tiffany Henyard spent around $12,000 for a trip to Vegas.
Flashback. Mayor Henyard and other top officials traveled to Sin City in May to attend a shopping center conference. It's unclear if it helped Dolton land any deals.
Don't have a clue. We're all in the dark.
Not only are the residents in the dark, but the trustees are also in the dark as well.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Uh-oh.
What is that?
No comment.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
End of flashback.
And then another $64,000 for various other trips to Austin, to Atlanta, to the People's Republic of New York City, staying at fine hotels like the Four Seasons and whatnot.
4 to 6 weeks later.
Township credit card records show Henyard and other officials spent more than $67,000 on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class.
It's good to be the king.
So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, Henyard and her team stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill came to $13,000.
Excuse me? A baking powder?
If she owes $76,000, if the town, the village of Dolton, owes $76,000, and she spent roughly that same amount on travel, I wonder if it's a one-to-one matchup for the money that was possessed at that time for the travel, and whether or not this bill was due to this bank for all the village's vehicles.
Interesting hypothesis.
That's absolutely nuts if it matches up, right?
And climbing.
The Board of Trustees approved payment in May of 2023.
But where that loan payment went that was due 9 months ago is anyone's guess.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
Lawyers for the bank now warning the village, pay up or be ready for repossession agents to take the vehicles, which include 6 police cruisers.
Well, the consequences initially are life-threatening.
A fear for public safety if means to respond to calls and emergencies is hindered. 7 other vehicles also facing repossession include 6 public works cars.
She can blame whoever she wants, but the board did their job back in May and authorized payment. She's blocking payment.
Legislative counsel for the Board of Trustees, Berardelli, is talking about Dolton's self-proclaimed super mayor, Tiffany Henyard.
The billboards always trip me out, man. I can't think of any other sitting elected official that have billboards plastered all over their municipality just advertising themselves when outside of an election. It's just completely mind-boggling. She had her own magazine. We saw that in a previous video as well. And if you remember, Tiffany Henyard goes around saying that she's the only one that gets things done.
Flashback.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.
End of flashback.
Meanwhile, the Board of Trustees authorized the payment for the car payments of these vehicles, and she didn't do it. Talk about flipping the script, right?
None of them do the things that we do here.
As unpaid bills by the village have come to light, WGN Investigates has uncovered exorbitant spending on lavish trips and experiences by Henyard and her allies, including a trip to Vegas that cost more than $12,000 the same month the loan payment was due.
Aha! That's exactly what we were talking about. At least the Vegas trip was around the same time that the loan payment on the vehicles were due. Not to mention the subsequent travel to all the other places that makes up the balance of what the present payment due is now.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
That's more than just a coincidence, folks, in my opinion.
I have never, ever seen the abuse that this mayor is laying on the feet of her citizens, ever.
Neither have I. Let's make this the topic of the day. Have you ever seen a municipality default on debt like this and seen vehicles repossessed? What do you think about what Tiffany Henyard is doing? We're going to get into the comments about that, but I also want to show you this other video concerning how Tiffany Henyard may be retaliating against her own citizens and businesses in the town and in the village because they refuse to support her politically.
Is it coincidence or retaliation? Both of the Dolton bars that were raided and shut down last night, we visited the day before as part of our ongoing investigation into allegations of political corruption in Dolton.
Well, that's another coincidence. They just rushed in here, put police at the front of the door like they was doing a raid on a drug house or something.
A team of Dolton police officers raided and shut down Pablo's Bar and Cafe and Rinky's Bar and Cafe, both located on Sibley, about a block apart.
Everything going peacefully, nothing going on. It's like 10 police cars came in and they start pushing customers from here. And he said, if you don't leave, we're going to lock you up.
It's pretty crazy. And usually when a bar is raided like that, it could be for allowing underage drinking. It could be for having gambling in the back. It could be for some other illicit or illegal activity, maybe drugs or something like that. But I don't hear a reason being given for these two bars, Pablo's and Rinky's, being shut down by the village of Dolton. Let's see if we get that reasoning.
Employees and owners say it's part of an ongoing campaign of harassment by Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard that is costing jobs and money. Their business licenses have been stripped by Dolton, but they've continued to operate with a state license.
Bureaucracy, folks. This is how they get you every time. Multiple licenses for multiple jurisdictions, preventing you from actually operating your business and earning money. Tiffany Henyard is using bureaucracy to punish, allegedly, these two bars who have state licenses to operate. But the overall layer, I mean, there could be a town layer, there could be a village layer. Who knows how many times she's dinging up these businesses just to operate. It smells like political corruption here, guys. It definitely stinks, in my opinion, anyway.
I have like over 23 employees. They work from the local township. Now, end of the day, all the employees, they're going to lose their job.
It's ridiculous. We all have mouths to feed. We all have kids. They're not giving us no explanation.
On Monday, we visited both Rinky's and Pablo's to ask about allegations their licenses were being held up for political reasons. Then last evening, we broke the story that FBI agents have questioned at least a half dozen people, including business owners, a former Dolton employee, and an elected official.
Oh, it's about time.
Wow, so the tide may be turning here on Tiffany Henyard. The super mayor is under investigation, as we said at the top of the show, by the Department of Justice, and they're interviewing business owners, possibly even these business owners featured in the video, claiming political retaliation by Henyard and abusing her office. Are the walls closing in right now? I don't know, but I'm here for it.
As part of an investigation into Mayor Henyard. Less than 2 hours after our story aired, police raided the two bars.
Someone seen you go in there, and then 2 hours after your story airs, that police are at both of these establishments.
Too many coincidences.
Tiffany Henyard is either the biggest victim of coincidences in the history of mankind, or there's an A to B connection between all of these events.
Dolton trustee Tammy Brown says she believes the raids are meant to send a warning to others not to talk. And she believes there's a reason so many Dolton businesses are having trouble getting their licenses renewed.
I'm sure that they were asked to donate, make a donation, and most likely they didn't make a donation. So you don't get a chance to stay open if you don't pay the Queen's ransom.
An interesting hypothesis.
While I like the turn of phrase, this trustee is lacking evidence. She's surmising that this is political retaliation. The business owners are claiming political retaliation. We've seen this in other videos as well, where businesses were shut down, locked up by the police, and it's believed to be political retaliation. We've seen mismanagement of funds, and now we're starting to see connections between trips and money not going out, even though it was authorized to be paid. It's all one big tangled mess here. But I think the answers are coming because the trustees have had enough, and they are calling for investigations on top of what the DOJ is doing. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. You're probably asking at this point, what the hell you gotta do to get an investigation around here? Tiffany Henyard has been the subject of months upon months of stories about abuse of office, financial mismanagement, money going missing. Where's the government in all this? Where's the DOJ? Where's the state of Illinois? What the hell is going on? Now, there are certain answers that you're going to get from this clip, but know that finally, the gears of government are slowly starting to turn in the direction of investigating Tiffany Henyard.
Tiffany Henyard didn't show up in person, but she was brought up in conversation and a vote.
Motion passed for resolution number 24-002, calling for investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
So the trustees have moved and passed a resolution to call for these investigations, and that's a pretty good thing. Now, the one thing I noticed in this video that maybe you guys noticed in checking out some prior videos we've done on the channel here is that this vote is not happening in the chamber where the business for the village of Dolton normally takes place. That's because there's been prior reporting of Tiffany Henyard locking out the Board of Trustees from accessing government buildings, government records, government property in order to conduct business. So it appears like the trustees took this upon themselves to meet somewhere off-site in a special session in order to call for these investigations. And Henyard did not even bother to show up to provide any defense or anything like that. My guess is she's going to call this an illegitimate meeting or something like that. But nonetheless, the trustees met and they passed a resolution. Let's find out more about this resolution.
The 4-trustee majority voting unanimously to call for an investigation into Henyard and what they say is the misuse of funds.
The Board of Trustees has repeatedly asked for financial information that we feel is entitled and has been denied that information. So we feel that we need to get intervention from somebody that can force this kind of action.
And we've seen this in prior videos as well, especially this trustee, I believe his name is Jason House, demanding receipts from Tiffany Henyard for all the travel that she put on the town's credit cards and things like that. We've seen other trustees demanding receipts about car payments and things like that as well, and exorbitant interest rates being paid for SUVs that Tiffany Henyard uses to get around. The trustees also want to account for all the overtime that Tiffany Henyard has authorized for police that basically are her 24/7 security force. Now, I'm not saying this resolution is going to find out every single information like that, but if this turns into a referral to state law enforcement and to the DOJ and the FBI, that's got to be a good thing, right?
Who are you asking for that intervention? What bodies?
We're asking the FBI, State's Attorney, Attorney General, and Cook County Sheriff's Office.
This meeting is an attempt for this legislative board to save Dolton.
They voted on items including asking for receipts for the mayor's trips and getting keys to Village Hall.
That's freaking amazing to me. How do legislators not have the keys to their own Village Hall? How in the world does an executive refuse to hand over receipts to the legislative body that has the power of the purse for the village? This is basic government 101.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
It's no way that we should be locked out of a place where we pay taxes.
Residents in attendance approving of the board's stance.
This has to stop. She cannot continue to intimidate and gangster her way through this.
We're not giving up because we refuse to let Tahoe TIffany take our community.
Nice name, Tahoe TIffany. Donald Trump would be proud of the label. Wow, this story is just snowballing bigger and bigger, but it feels like the walls are finally closing in on Tiffany Henyard. The amount of buffoonery in this story is completely over the top. There are so many different types that I identify in my book, Schnooks, Crooks, Lies, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons, available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores, that Tiffany Henyard has committed here. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But the worst of it that we should talk about is how Tiffany Henyard is a radioactive buffoon. This long history of mismanagement, irresponsible spending, abuse of power, all spreads to all the people around her, the police who are just taking the money and acting as her goon squad, as well as these village trustees who heretofore haven't done much to stop Tiffany Henyard other than meetings like this that we've seen, and there's been no forceful pushback at this point. I think we've gotten to that stage, but look how long it took for us to get here. Tiffany Henyard's legacy is going to be that of corruption, mismanagement, and abuse. Hopefully, the DOJ finds some hard evidence to confirm what everybody was surmising in all this, that the coincidences that we're finding in the spending and the coincidences of the alleged political retaliation, that they're not really coincidences at all, but they're actually calculated plots and schemes by Tiffany Henyard to use government for her own personal benefit, for her own devices. I hope all that travel was worth it, Tiffany, because it seems to me that in due time, your travel is probably going to be restricted for a couple of years or so. But listen, that's just my opinion about all this. Let me know what you think in the comments. And please, as always, like and share the video with your friends. Hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Let's get in the comments together and talk about Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard and all this abuse, all these shenanigans, all the buffoonery that we're seeing in this video and prior videos that's going on every day in Dolton this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.